The following program is presented by Mazda Quality Cars and Commercials and your local Mazda.
Of course, there's no such thing as a jinx in rugby league, but you'd be excused for thinking Saints had one on Canterbury Bankstown. Remarkably, you know, the Bulldogs haven't beaten St. George here at Belmore since 1977. Canterbury, naturally cock-a-hoop after their win over Parramatta in the first round, can thank their coach Ted Glossop for the tactical move of replacing the injured Dennis Donahue with Craig Madsen. It won them the game, but still couldn't get the young man a top-team berth. The only change in the lineup, Stephen Folkes, their perennial utility player, goes from lock into the vacated second-row berth. And for the first time this season, Mark Hughes makes an appearance in his grand final spot at lock forward. Well, 7 wins over Canterbury from their last 8 games. Roy Masters' Dragons are entitled to be confident. A good win over Norths in the first round, but today a problem. In-form Rod Reddy has dropped out with a back injury and he's replaced by the hard-working Brad Buchanan. But Reddy's attacking flair will certainly be missed. The continued good form of local boy centre Michael Beattie, who plays only his 14th first-grade game for the club and has already amassed 10 tries as a plus. Traditionally, Canterbury Saints clashes have great entertainment value. Today won't be any exception. Let's have a look now at the statistics of the two clubs. Since Canterbury entered first grade in 1935, there have been 111 matches between these two clubs, St George winning 69, Canterbury winning 39. At Belmore in this time, there have been 37 games. St George have won 25, Canterbury have won 12. Now, a look at both sides onto the field. Canterbury led out by their skipper, George Papanis. This is the full team. Greg Brentnell, Chris Anderson, Chris Mortimer, Peter Mortimer, Steve Guerin, Gary Hughes, Steve Mortimer, Mark Hughes, Stephen Folkes, Peter Casillas, John Coveney, George Papanis and Jeff Robinson. Coach Ted Glossop. St George led out by their skipper. And here's the full side. Brian Johnson, Michelle Sorodimi, Graham Quinn, Michael Beattie, Brian Johnston, Tony Trudgett, Steve Morris, Brad Buchanan, Graham Wing, George Grant, Craig Young, Captain, John Dowling, Pat Jarvis, Coach Roy Masters. The referee, Mr. John Gosha. Canterbury running from right to left, Barry Ross on the sideline.
Yes, well, the wind's favouring St George, quite a strong nor'easter and very, very hot conditions. Not quite as hot as last week, but already in the 2 minor grade games today, 88 points have been scored, and this shows how hard it is for the defence.
All right, a change of possession. Canterbury in with the ball, and the referee is calling out
Pat Jarvis.
Jarvis is going to be spoken to. Crowd setting up a chant of off, off, off. That won't be the case. Wasn't worthy of dismissal. Penalty. And the question arises, can Guerin kick a goal into the breeze from about 34 metres, 38 metres? That's 16 metres in. Straight as a gun barrel. First blood to Canterbury. They lead by 2 points to 0. Greg Brentnell, fullback. Capanis busily wiping his hands on the back of Brentnell's jersey. That'll be indicative of the perspiration factor. Mark Hughes. Just their side of halfway, Canterbury. Robinson. Oh! Literally like a wounded buffalo. Graham Wynn, there's a fight on now. Robinson's down on the ground here. It's developing into an all-in. Papanis and Dowling are having a go at it. On the right. Still going on the right. The referee having a great deal of trouble controlling it. Graham Quinn there having to be separated from I think Stephen Folkes. Now here's Robinson in the charge. Did lift his knee slightly. Wynn came in with a overhead swing. Dowling's been given 10 minutes. George Papanis has been given 10 minutes. So we've got a 12-a-side game of rugby league at the moment. The penalty goes to Canterbury Bankstown. It was a fairly lengthy stoppage. Brentnell's kick for touch puts them into a strong attacking position. Total lack of thought when they do stupid things out in the open. Porter won the penalties in Canterbury's favour at the moment. The scrums are 2-all. Gary Hughes, Mark Hughes. Jarvis, good tackle. Gary Hughes, Robinson. George Grant stood his ground. Robinson's over the top of him. Steve Mortimer, little chip through. Johnson can't get to it. It's a try. Mortimer has come up, picked up the dregs of the error from Johnson and scored the first tie for Canterbury Bankstown. See it again. Beautifully judged little kick. He was impeded slightly. It was a hell of a one for Johnson to try to take. Right through, he had to dive. The head-on shot will show more graphically the pressure that he was placed under. Watch the chip. Our camera follows the action. There's the dive by Johnson. It was at his feet. And Mortimer, a clean touchdown. It's successful. So the Canterbury side have serviced away in this telecast, brought to you by Mazda and your local Mazda dealer by 7 points to 0. My statistician, Trevor Gardner, tells me that the lads have been out for 8 3/4 minutes now. Presumably Papanis will have completed his, well, they will have completed the stitching on his head. Coveney. Another great kick, left footer from Mark Hughes. And that's a game, tactically, territorially, touch judge in.
Yes, well, there was an incident between Young and Coveney then, and after the play the ball, and you were following the ball, Rex Coveney attempted to punch Young and then hold his arm. He's holding it now. I don't know whether it's a bite he's claiming.
Papanis and Dowling make a reappearance. We think they've been stolen 4 seconds. We won't quibble. Oh, well, actually not on the field, so they will be. They are right now.
Get the referee now.
Morris. Brad Buchanan standing out of the scrum. Mark Hughes rides him to the ground, just outside St.George Quarter. Morris. Graham Quinn. Dowling. Morris. Oh, that was leaving itself up in the air to be intercepted. I think possession has changed hands. No. He did very well to hold that, actually, did Graham Wynn. It was a bad pass. Craig Young. He's lost the ball. Well, Craig will want to forget the opening 17 minutes of this game. I believe he's dropped it twice. And there's a penalty. George having something to say, and you can see if we could get a tight shot of that head of George Papanis. He's had a fair amount of hair cut away on the left-hand side there. Now St. George, one of the rare. That pass looked forward from the tap. You were sitting pretty close to that, Barry?
Well, not really, Rex. It was 15 or so yards behind that. I couldn't tell from here.
Morris. Win. Swinging George Papanis. Dowling. Craig Young. Grant leaves it behind. Jarvis, I'm sorry, leaves it behind, and that must be a pretty horrendous error count coming up already. And there's the George Papanis scrum situation. 13 from 24, success rate of 54.2. 7-0, Canterbury lead. It's a terrible scrum. That's signal, I think he's indicating that Canterbury swung that scrum right around. Didn't have them facing square on. And Roy Masters, the phlegmatic coach of the St. George side, now formerly Western Suburbs, watching the action. Dowling eventually ends up with the ball from that tap restart. 15 metres out. Trudgett. George Grant. 8 metres away. Robinson and Lee seem to be all wound up there. Back inside to Craig Young. Dowling. Win. Oh, that was a forward pass, offside pass, no doubt about it. It was held up too long by Wynn, and on the burst coming through was Brian Johnston. There it is. Now watch him hold it right up, and there it was half a metre forward, in my view. Trainers on both sides on off the field pretty regularly in this opening 23 minutes. Brentnell puts them back on attack.
Excellent kick.
And we'll see a replay of this game next Sunday morning. Just preceding Sports World, which starts at 10:30 and goes through to 1. Complete comprehensive coverage of all sport with a large segment devoted to rugby league. Brentnell, dummy. Got the pass to Peter Mortimer, but he was tackled straight away. Paponis, Gary Hughes, spreading out to Casillas. Through! Wholehearted player. Paponis. Coveney. Last tackle coming up. Now they've got a couple of moves. Watch for Brentnell, the fullback, to come into a move here. It's for a kick. He's got it! Brentnell's taken the ball out of Johnson's hands and scored a try beside the post. Oh, an unbelievable leap. Incredible leap. 10-0 with a kick in front to follow. See it again. And he was onside. Look at him. I thought they were going to use the usual Canterbury move of switching it across and turning it back in. Look at the leap. And Johnson's no slouch in taking bombs when he was outleapt on that occasion. Watch it again from head on. Bombing St. George out of existence at the moment. Oh, what a leap. Gearan from just off centre, 10 metres out. Almost out on the railway lines. And the score, 12-0. That kick's not going to go the required distance. Yes, it is now. Jeff Robinson festooned with streamers there. Great paper. Coloured paper there on the ground all over that side. Waterman. Mark Hughes. He must be feeling the pinch a bit. This is his first game in first grade this year, Barry Ross.
Yes, that's right. He had hamstring trouble last week and missed the game against Parramatta.
On the burst comes Jarvis. Holding him down. Dowling takes a quick tap. Up to Buchanan. Win. Bit slow to react there. He had men unmarked on the outside. Not taking the kick at goal might be a bit costly. Craig Young nicely then to Dowling. Looking for his 15th try was Beattie. Now, Craig Young only about 3 metres away. Dowling. Morris. And the Canterbury backs on the outside behind Mr. Gosher were offside. Wynn not running. Just sold the dump.
He had plenty to say to his teammates, then he thought someone else should have got that ball, and there didn't appear to be too many runners.
A bit of a disorganised rabble on the forwards at the moment, St. George. It's a penalty differential against Mortimer. Morris. Brad Buchanan. St. George resorting just to bashing and barging here in these situations. I don't know what's wrong with 2 points at this stage. Morris. Still going. Strong little fella. They've got him hung up over the line now. Pushing back 2 metres. All those players in front of the goal line were offside there. Ball on the ground. Atrocious pass.
Right winger Brian Johnson over in the middle of his centres.
Craig Young. Craig Young. Oh, and he's dropped the ball over the line. See it again. Actually got over the line and dropped it. It was a good burst by Craig Young. Now watch him, dummy. The strength of the man, brushes the first defender aside, gets to that point, just about to put it down, and out it goes of his hands. Looking for our corrugated paper tackle of the week in this match and all the other rounds of football on this weekend. From a highly sought-after award, big prizes. Steve Mortimer there. That's penalty against Craig Young for what could be classified as a second tackle. Keep your elbows off. Gary Hughes. Chris Mortimer. Peter Mortimer. Chris Anderson. Mark Hughes. About 9 metres his own side of halfway. Giron. Innovating heat out there, I'd reckon, Barry Ross.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Rex. It's very, very hot for these, particularly these big forwards as the George have got.
Jeff Robinson. Caponis. Mortimer. Casillas. Long pass there, it's gone to ground, taken well by Folks. Peter Mortimer looks to support on the inside, and Folks has knocked it forward. That's a let off. Graham Quinn comes up with the ball on his own quarter. There was a try on there.
Yes, and Canterbury turned something from a bad pass there. Mortimer scooped up the dregs and away he went.
Sorodini coming from the left wing, midfield. St. George big men standing much too shallow and not getting any steam up as they run. Indeed, they're giving the appearance in the forwards of having run out of steam a bit. Steve Morris. Long pass that to Graham Quinn. Heavily backslammed. And that kick for touch as the error situation. St. George continue to drop the ball 8 times to Canterbury's 3. Number of times each side has given the ball back to the opposition. Scrum win to St. George. Their backs are standing so flat it's difficult for them to attack. I think on their own put in they'd stand a bit deeper. Grant, they're easy meat for the defence standing so flat. Morris, Quinn, and nicely tackled out there was Michael Beattie, who's got all the pace in the world, given her a bit of room to move. Morris, Trudgett, Buchanan, back to Trudgett. About 1 minute and 10 seconds to go, unofficial time. Craig Young. Oh, that pass was forward. Robinson takes an intercept. Comes up with the ball. St. George forwards look very clumsy. That's the best way to put it.
Yes, they're making it easy, as you say, standing up all the time with these little guys in the Canterbury back row, Casillas, Folkes and Hughes. They're tackling very well, those three in the heat.
A lot easier for them to keep going than the big men on the St. George side, but the St. George method of passing the ball among themselves is very clumsy and very hurried. Whoops, Coveney nearly put that one down. Second grab. Under 30 seconds to go. Roy Masters realising half-time coming up is going to get out, and I think he's going to say a few words to his boys. There's the hooter in the background. Gary Hughes. Tackled in possession. So at the half-time break, a commanding lead to the Canterbury side by 12 points to 0. And it's been a try to Greg Brentnell, a try to Steve Mortimer, and goals to Steve Gearon. 3 goals to Steve Gearon that has done the job. No score to St. George at this time. We'll be back with all the action of the second half of Sevens Big League in just a moment.
Is on for Greg Brentnell. Brentnell has hamstring problems and he's off his half. George Papanis, 4 stitches in that cut of his head, quite a deep cut. Ted Goff spent some time with these guys, just telling them that they had the points on the board. They didn't have to do too much. They just had to do their job and hold the ball, and that's his main concern. They hold that ball and, of course, keep up their good defence. Roy Masters, meanwhile, with St. George, there's no changes in their side, but Roy was concerned at the heat. It's the first time his side had played in the heat, and they're a very, very big side, and he's blamed the heat for the bad handling of his side, but they spent some time. They've got to hold that ball. They realise they've got to score early, and Roy's hopeful that they can get points on the board in the first 10 minutes.
Well, they didn't do very well for the kick-off, failing to kick at the required 10 metres and getting the mandatory penalty against them. Canterbury back in possession now with Robinson about to play the ball. Paponis, Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes, Mark Hughes. Swinging right arm from Trudgett. Father connect. Folkes around the blind side, driving a grubber kick deep with the left foot, and it's a good one. Right into St. George's quarter. And interesting to hear what this crowd is here today. It's a pretty good one. 12-0 the score. 2 tries and 3 goals. George come up with the scrum win. Oh, terrible pass, hitting too hard, and that's one of the rare occasions Canterbury have not been able to come up with the dregs of the change of possession. Pat Jarvis having an uncomfortable day. I don't think he's got the physique of a front row forward personally. I think he's more the second row type. Another scrum win to St. George. Brad Buchanan away to Stevie Morris through the tackle of Mark Hughes. Trudgett runs from dummy half. 8 yards from halfway. Craig Young steaming straight ahead. A metre from the halfway line. Good tackle right round the boots there by Steve Mortimer. Dowling. St. George taking it right up the middle from the base of the ruck. Little chip through by Morris. Gearon was able to field that in the volley. Here's the first touch for Neil Baker. Related to Les Johns, you say, Barry Ross?
Yes, that's right. I think Les is an uncle of Baker. He comes from Newcastle, joined the Bulldogs last year and played 10 first-grade games, scoring 6 tries for the club.
George Papanis looking for somebody there, but there was no runner. The crowd quickly get onto their team for that. Mark Hughes.
Graham Wynn having treatment on the far side of the field from the St. George trainer.
And out in the fall for Steve Mortimer. Little low trajectory kick. Only by half a metre. Look at the Dowling stat situation from 11 scrums from 16, 68.8. That's a very good success ratio. And against St. George for hands in that scrum. 12-0, Canterbury lead. Tries to Brentnell, who's been replaced, and Steve Mortimer. And 3 goals from 4 attempts to Steve Gearin. Chris Anderson. Bonus. Coveney. Bonus. Switch a player back across the ruck to Folks. Unloads nicely to Mortimer, then to Gary Hughes. Peter, Mortimer back inside his brother Chris. He's kept him wide open. Going hard for the corner. He's got support, gives it to Gearin. Gearin may go on with it. He gives it past to Mortimer. Steve, and he's in for a try right underneath the post. Out of the blue, a marvellous try, a beautiful bit of combination between Chris and Peter Mortimer. As if they knew each other, they worked so well. And the brothers have struck. Watch the football they put on. Folks started it with this stand-up in the tackle. Then it went out to Gary Hughes. Now watch this. Beautiful inside flick from Peter to Chris. He straight away beautifully. Look for Gearin on the inside. Gearin brought the cover to him, and as he did, little Steve Mortimer was there. So the brothers Mortimer well and truly involved. From head on, watch the bewilderment of the St. George three-quarters at this move. Suck, trudge it right across. Mortimer showing a very good turn of speed. High knee action. Gearin back on the inside. The evasion of the tackle well. Steve Mortimer underneath the post. And the cheeky chappie loves to score the try. Gearin from directly in front, 11 metres out. A humiliating sight the scoreboard is with that kick. It is now 17 points to 0 against the mighty St. George. That's a penalty to St. George. It's against Steve Mortimer for an incorrect feed. Differential penalty.
And there's the attendance today, 16,195.
Yes, I was 195 out. Dowling. Only 2 metres away. Can St. George get a try and get back into this game? 17-0 they try. George Grant. Dowling. Could be in. Craig Young says he is. The referee says he is. After we take a look at the touchdown. So Dowling comes up with the first blood to St. George, and not before time, one would think. It's not what you'd call a brilliant bit of football. The pass was taken. It's right on the line. On the line is a try because the try line is in goal. Held up and not tackled effectively, according to the referee, Gosha. He can be stood up in a tackle and effectively tackled. So if your forward progress is stopped, the referee has judged that he wasn't tackled. 11 yards in from the sideline, a yard short of the 25. It's way to the right. So 17-3, Canterbury has that marvellous lead bridged ever so slightly. Restart, well, he's got 3 points on the board, his team have, and maybe that to Roy Masters is the tip of the mountain.
So that's what he wanted. He wanted to score early in this half. He didn't want Canterbury to score as they did, but he did want an early try, so halfway there.
Yes, well, he's done it in 13 minutes of the second half. Now Dowling having quite a useful game in the open, as well as winning the scrums. Craig Young. Very slow, Graham Wynn, ponderously slow to react to the situation. Craig Young getting through a lot of work. Trudge it. Back inside to Wynn now. Wynn's busted them for the first time. Looks for support to Johnson. And he's pulled it back. The St. George fans will react to that. I thought it perhaps was a marginal one. Perhaps slightly offside. But you see and you be the judge. The referee was on the spot, as you'll see in the picture. Now here's Wynn, busting the tackle for the first time. Now watch it. I suggest it was a very close one indeed, and John Gosher is a brave man to have ruled that one.
Yes, and as you were watching the replay, Rex, Craig Young had plenty to say to the referee. I think he may have been commenting on the fact that Steve Folkes, chasing Johnson, turned as he chased and said something to referee Gosher along the lines that that pass was forward, and Young was commenting and saying, well, let you referee the game, not him.
Anyway, that's a try gone begging. And a very critical one when we look back at this game. Only 14.5 minutes of the game. St. George try disallowed wide out. Folkes. Steve Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Peter Mortimer. Proponis. Steve Mortimer. And Gary Hughes drops the ball. St. George come up with it. Quick change of possession. Graham Wynn on there to Beattie. Sorodemia dummy half. Steve Morris. Well, that pass was forward. No doubt in the wide world about that one on to Jarvis. The referee was standing back the 5 on Canterbury side of the ruck. Craig Young. Dowling leaves it behind. Peter Mortimer comes up with it. Got support out there. What can he do? Good tackle there by Graham Quinn. Stopped his forward motion. Hughes. Boot top tackle there from Quinn again. Steve Mortimer. Casillas. Willing workhorse. Folkes. Nice little stutter. Little jink with the feet. Gary Hughes, and the pass is a bit hard. Picked up again, and Gary Hughes got it away quickly, but it would have been a knock-on. Don't forget Sports World, 10:30 every Sunday. Comprehensive coverage of all sport. Great coverage on rugby league. St. George come up with another scrum win. And preceding Sports World is a replay of the previous Sunday's 7 Big League match. Graham Quinn. And Beattie finally belted the ground inside the Canterbury half. Quinn. Grant. Grant is, in my view, not the answer to St. George's problems of the second row.
I think that Roy Masters would have wanted him in the side as a goal kicker, and he hasn't done that well today, and only 3 from 8 last week.
There's Jansen waiting to come on the field. Stretching those hamstrings, as any young player should do before, or any player of any age. Now Grant's going to play the ball, of course. Were he replaced and not able to play it, it would have had to have been a scrum. Here he is. There's the error situation. St. George says it all, doesn't it, really? 12-5. 12 times they've dropped the ball, given it back to Canterbury. Johnson, the fullback, coming in. A little bit of shepherding there, I thought. Must get off the tackle player. Chris Mortimer. $17 points to 3. Johnson, pretty ordinary kick. Win. And he released the hobbles on one occasion today, made a good break. Win. Back into Beattie. Back to Trudgett. That's what they've got to do. They've got to keep the ball alive. They've proven they can't crack Canterbury. Buchanan running hard and straight. Dowling. Craig Young. Driving kick, which is going to be a very good one in the upshot. And a penalty as well. Interference by a Canterbury player on the players coming through. Jansen on now in 18. Dowling, Young, Trudgett. Crisscross move from the tap. 9 yards out. Dowling. Win. Buchanan came on the burst. Dowling looking for his second. Buchanan. Craig Young nicely back on the inside. Oh, that was close thing to Win. Great tackle by Baker, was it?
No, Steve
Mortimer. Folks, there's a try. Sorodini. The defence just opened up there a little bit. Canterbury 17, St George 6. We've had 23 minutes of play. Watch the overhead pass. Trudgett raises his arms and basketballs out to Sorodini. Scores wide out. No hands on him. Head on. Pretty simple effort. Win frequently doesn't come in directly behind the ball. His leg sometimes gets a bit of a traverse on it. Watch and see. And you can see him come across that quite definitely. It was a slice from the moment his leg came from outside in like a golf swing. So there the score, 17-6.
Kevin's shot. He's 30 years of age now too,
well, he's an object lesson to every other forward on the field. Not by any means saying he's the best forward on the field in terms of talent, but for sheer effort. He's a remarkable player.
Yes, he certainly is. He's played, this is his 106th first grade game for Canterbury today. 183 grade games altogether.
John Jansen having a charge. With unofficial time of 10 minutes to go. Morris. He's had precious few opportunities today. There's a bust right up the middle by Jarvis. He could run and score here. He's going to. No! He's lost the ball. Lost it backwards, and it's a try now. There was no knock on. When he was tackled, it was finally knocked backwards, and Paponis arguing the toss about that. But Bugden's the man that comes, Trudgett comes up with the try. Now watch the strong run of Jarvis, and you'll note that as he's tackled by Baker, the ball does come backwards. That's a good decision by the referee. There was no knock on, and Trudgett is not guilty of a double movement. See it again from head on. A good step there by the young fella. And really picking him up and putting him down. The tackle almost effective. The ball definitely going backwards. No suggestion in my mind of a knock on. Trudgett did well to pick that up on the run. Win. He's managed to pilot one over. So that score not looking quite as healthy as it was only 3 minutes ago. Canterbury 17, St George 11. We've still got 8 minutes to go, and now we can say it's open again. Well, Masters still chewing away, and he's got plenty to say to his statisticians and so forth around him. Must see a glimmer of hope in this game. Now St George might be able to lift themselves for a final splurge. Got to score twice. I'll give you a pretty comprehensive countdown over the final stages. 10 yards from halfway. Dowling, Morris, Wynn, Beattie, Sorodimi, Johnson. They're putting together exactly the sort of football they should have been doing earlier on, and that is a good bit of defence there to drive him over the sideline and start it again with a scrum.
We ask everyone for the race in keeping up the field and completion of play. Thank you very much. We respect the players. Appreciate it very much.
Now the penalty to St. George, failing to keep the scrum square on against Canterbury. What's Gearon's Christian name? Peter, isn't it?
Paul. I think this is his first or second first grade game. I think he may have come on last year. Oh, that hasn't found touch.
Oh, that's a horrible error. That is a horrible error. In a game with 6.5 minutes to go. But there it's been effectively negated by the fact that Wynn was able to get up there and pin Baker in the in goal. So they'll get the ball back from the line dropout. Hard, low trajectory, and well taken on the first bounce by Sorodimi. Now, what can this player do? He can get to the quarter line. That's as good as he could expect. Dowling. There's Jarvis again, showing plenty of vigour. Craig Young standing on the blind side. There'll be something on here. Nice little pass to Morris. The defence awake to it, the shape of Mark Hughes. Buchanan. Great fight back by St. George in the last 15 minutes. Dowling, Morris, Trudgett right through. Oh, and swung to the ground. I thought he was actually through. His arms were free. Ball on the ground now. St. George have got to keep this alive if they can. It's ricocheted St. George's way. Paponis has done a slip catch. that might be just as important as any of the Bobby Simpson catches in the past and slips for Australia.
Canterbury about to make another change, wearing number 22, Greg Sankey, going onto the sideline of the touch judge.
And Ted Glossop with the replaced Robinson there on the sideline.
Yes, and just underneath Ted's feet, Steve Gearon. Unfortunately for Canterbury, they can't use young Craig Madsen today, the young guy that came on last week and did so well against Parramatta. He was injured slightly in the reserve grade game, and he can't go on.
All right, we think we're into unofficial time, that is. 4 minutes to go. Canterbury starting to make mistakes now. St. George in possession, 30 yards out. Well, the message has just gone out to the Canterbury players from Glossop to tell them that they've only got under 5 minutes to go and to play safe football. That means no mistakes. Trudgett. St. George all in a bunch. Jarvis again getting his body through the tackle. He's done pretty well in the last 10 minutes. Craig Young. Buchanan. Throwing their arms in the air there, wanting the pass. Craig Young belting along. Oh, there's a try to Jansen, easy. And Craig Young taking it right up for that one. A funny ball game, this one. Canterbury 17. St. George 14. A remarkable comeback. See it again, a beautiful pass. And from head on, you'll see it even better illustrated. And here it is. Now the big fella strides into a gap that you could have driven a horse and cart through. Third attempt. That's just away, is it? Oh, it's only a fraction away. So with, we think, about 2 minutes to go, unofficial time, there's a scoreline that nobody would have believed of. They're not going to get the use of 6 tackles, I wouldn't think. 40 seconds over our time. Need some calm heads out there at the moment from both sides. The hell to play if St. George get up. There's the hooter in the background. That's the end of the section. So a valiant effort by St. George's, failed by only 2 points. Canterbury not failing, Canterbury visibly wilting in the last 15 minutes of this game. So Canterbury 17, St. George 14. Our award winner today, among many good individual performances, was Peter Casillas, the Canterbury Bankstown second rower, who I thought was quite outstanding in the context that he just gave a magnificent 100% performance in both attack and defence, and a very, very worthy winner of the award for today. Results of the other matches in today's round: Canterbury 17, St. George 14 in the game we televised. Eastern Suburbs a massive 40 points to Illawarra 15 at the Sports Ground, and Manly a creditable performance in the second half, coming from behind to defeat North Sydney at Brookvale by 24 points to 18. I hope you've enjoyed our telecast. This has been Rex Mossop from Belmore.
You'll see Rex Mossop's special reports on what's happening in the league in 7 National News Nightly. Right now on Channel 7, it's time for Chips. And tonight, John and Ponch get stuck into a company who are dumping toxic chemical wastes. Chips coming up in just a moment. And then our big movie premiere, a riotous movie starring George Segal and Goldie Hawn as the Duchess.
This program was brought to you by Mazda Quality Cars and Commercials and your local Mazda dealer.